Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Morris from the Co-op Program. I'm the Scholar and Communications Manager for the Co-op Program, and I'm really excited to see so many people online for the Careers Chat in Technology tonight. Before we go too far, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of UNSW and the Co-op Program, together with Mirragilly, the Bidjigal people, the traditional custodians of the lands on which the Kensington campus is, where we gather to work and to study, and I personally live. We'd like to pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and we'd like to welcome you here tonight. So as I said, my name's Michelle Morris and I'm joined by Sabine King, who's our industry partner in technology programs, as well as Hannah Chen and Aditya Nana, who are our current scholars in technology programs. So we will, without further ado, get moving if I can make it all work. So some of you may have a really solid idea of what you want to do, and you may have had that with you since you were 5 years old and have a very firm idea of what you want to do. Others may be a little bit more like myself, who found it a little bit overwhelming, exciting, but a little bit overwhelming when I was thinking about what I wanted to do after high school. So for me, it looked a little bit like this. There was opportunities, there were roads, there were pathways, but there were just so many that I found it a little bit overwhelming. And whichever angle you're coming at it from, that's completely fine. We really just want to talk through a few things that you might remember about kind of thinking about a career. Don't freak out. There is no black and white. There is no right and wrong. Don't overanalyze, whether you're making the right decision and whether there is only one. There are so many ways to go down similar career paths or to arrive at a similar destination. There isn't just one way to do this. What we probably would really get you to think about is your career is over a lifetime. So, really what you should be thinking about in the first place is, where do you want to start? And where do you want your launch pad for your career to be? If it's in, whether you're still tossing up between maths or finance or technology or medicine or law, and if it's technology, is it that you want to be a product manager, or is it that you want to be an analyst? Are you thinking about being a developer, or are you really aiming for the CIO, CTO role right from the get-go? Regardless of what it is, there are multiple ways to get there. So if you're thinking about your career, what are some things that you might want to start with in that thought process? Now, we think what's really important to consider is obviously your talent. What is it that you do well? And some of this will be really obvious, really evident to you through classes that you might have taken, some school activities and things like that. But some of it might be things that you're developing outside of the classroom, and you might have to look a little bit further afield to find where your skill set lies. You might want to think about your values. What's important to you? Are you really keen to be super highly paid? Or do you just really want some security and a solid 9-to-5 job? Are you really interested in consulting and working with people from across a whole bunch of different industries? Do you like working with people, or do you prefer working on your own? Some of these things you might not be able to answer now, but some of these things are going to help you narrow down where you might want to take those first steps. And then think about what your interests are and what you're passionate about. And really, really importantly here, not what your mum's passionate about, not what your brother is or your best friend is, but really what is it that you are excited by? What is it that, if you've got, 5 minutes standing in a queue, what are you thinking about? What is it that, interests you and makes you kind of go that extra mile to look into? And then, of course, once you've thought about that, what opportunities are there around you? How can you start exploring some of these things? Where did that inspiration come from? Where does that interest come from? Maybe you heard somebody talking about their job and thought, wow, that sounds really cool. That's something I want to get involved with. Maybe it's something that you have explored as a part-time role, or in a coding camp or something like that. if you haven't explored it very much yet, what can you do to explore it before you start taking those initial steps into your study and into your first steps of your career? So thinking about all of those things, of course, then, you know, just basically gives you a whole bunch more information from where you want to start narrowing things down a little bit. So, you know, we really encourage you to take this opportunity, and this is a great start, to ask lots of questions. You've all got teachers or careers advisors, family members, older siblings, people in your part-time jobs that you might be able to ask. Get some life experience. Think about outside of the classroom. How are you developing some of these skills, not just in your classes, but in activities that you're doing, and maybe sports or you know, anything that you might be doing outside the classroom. All of those sorts of things. And then if you haven't thought about opportunities that you could explore these things, or if you have identified opportunities, and you know, we might talk to you a little bit later about one that you can explore really excitingly at UNSW, then make sure you put yourself out there to actually get into the game and to be able to see if these things suit you. Don't wait for those opportunities to come to you. Start building some confidence and start building a little bit of, you know, confidence in your own decision-making process, knowing that you've thought these things through, you've put yourself in a great position from the information that you have and that you've, you know, sought out. But you're in a really comfortable position to take that next step. But really importantly, don't panic. There is no one ultimate career decision. I guarantee you that everybody that I am surrounded by, including myself, did not expect to necessarily be right where they are at this point of their career. The best thing that you can do is to keep in mind what we've talked about in terms of gathering information, experience, finding a place to start your career as a launch pad, and keep your eyes and ears open for new opportunities that might open up, new things that that might be, you know, coming down the pipeline. Some of you will start your careers in jobs that don't currently exist, and that's exciting and it's cool and it's okay. So, you know, don't worry if you have a plan in mind and that plan shifts. That's absolutely okay. All you need to do right now is open your mind to different ideas and start asking some questions. So that's just kind of how we wanted to frame the start of tonight. I am now going to hand over to Sabine, and she's going to give you a little bit more information about the technology program. Thanks, Sabine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sabine King, and I'm the industry partner in the Co-op Program for Technology. I think I have the most exciting job because I get to work with some amazing scholars who study the technology degrees at UNSW, but I also get to work with some really amazing companies in the technology field. And I get to see some of the cool things that they're involved in and that they work on, and that kind of excites me, and I'm a bit nerdy that way, so I find technology really interesting. If we take a look at the next slide, you can see the range of UNSW degrees. Michelle, can you navigate us to the next slide? There we go. You can see the range of UNSW degrees that you can study if you choose to come to UNSW. And again, like Michelle said, there's no one-fit-all solution for everyone. If UNSW is where you want to end up, that's fantastic, and we'd love to have you. If it's not, that's okay as well. So you really need to make your own decisions. But if you do decide to come to UNSW, there's these 4 degrees in the tech space. Business Information Systems and Commerce Information Systems are 2 degrees that sit within the business school. Computer Science and Software Engineering sit within our engineering faculty. That gives you a bit of an insight that there is some nuances and differences between those degrees. Now let's take a closer look at the Information Systems degrees. You guys would know we're surrounded by technology on a daily basis, and we interact with information systems on a daily basis. Whether you go shopping at a supermarket and use the checkout staff scan your products to get the barcodes and the prices that match it, that's an information system that sits behind there. Whether you tap your Opal card on a reader and it takes the money off your card and logs your data and your journey, again, supported by an information systems. Any e-commerce platforms, so to do your online shopping are information systems. The ATM machines, even the Wi-Fi connections to connect you to your computer or your phone, and the stories go on. It is, we literally cannot escape technology in our daily lives. And information systems is one of those areas where, in a business sense, it's the ability to understand the various business processes and to create a link between the user and the technology. So it's about how businesses can make the best use of technology to provide information that they need to achieve their goals. And if you look at businesses, every business has a different goal. Just like we have different goals in our lives, so do the businesses. And if you study information systems and become a business analyst, it is your role in a way to decipher which is the right technology platform to meet that business goal and business need. Again, not one fit all solution. There, depending on the size and the goals, there's different technologies and platforms that you might want to use as a business. Big data is another area, not quite yet. Big data is another area that has become super popular and a bit of a buzzword around. I guess there's so much data everywhere, and by organizations, it's often used to collect, to filter, to process, to create, and to distribute the data. It helps those companies make decisions and get access to data and then derive business insights out of it. So again, something really important that you as a tech student can be looking at. I might note here that we also have a data science and decisions degree at UNSW, which is something where you would purely study big data in way more in depth than you might do an information systems degree. We will talk more about big data and data decisions, data science and decisions in tomorrow's session in the business career chats. Back to information systems. The other part with this whole data and having access to so much data, which is fantastic from a business point of view that you can get insights out of it, but it comes with responsibility. And information systems also looks at how businesses manage and store these data, the data securely. And cybersecurity, cyber engineering all comes into play there. Now, the last thing I want to note on this slide is the difference between those two information systems degree. We often get asked by students, well, what does it mean if I study BIS, Business Information Systems, or what does it mean if I choose CIS, Commerce Information Systems? And there are some fundamental differences. Both degrees in co-op are 4 years at UNSW, but BIS is really a deep dive into information systems. And the degree has just recently undergone a review, and from next year we'll be launching some new courses, a new degree structure, which has been done in consultation with industry involvement. So there, an old programming course which used Java is now changed to Python, bringing it up to life a little bit more. And the other addition that is unique for BIS is that in your final year, you'd be able to work on a research project and really spend the year researching a topic of your interest and getting some real deep insights. And that's called an honors year. A CIS, a Commerce Information Systems degree, is a commerce degree with an understanding of technology. You don't necessarily have to code in CIS, and you might not. You might enjoy it, but you might not. But CIS also gives you the flexibility to add a second major. So you might want to combine that commerce degree with an insight into technology with finance or with accounting or with marketing. So you do have some other options there. Now let's look at the other two degrees that we have within UNSW. Actually, I just wanted to mention a couple of industries that support our information systems co-op scholars, and where some of our scholars go on placements. And you can see from the list of industries here, whether it's consulting, consumer food brands, financial services, the application of information systems is literally everywhere. Our scholars will go through 3 placements. So the idea and the aim behind it is that our scholars will work in 3 very different industries throughout their program in co-op, giving them some breadth across the different industries. So when it comes to finishing your degree at university, you have a good insight into what first job you might like to take and what industry that first job might be in. Moving on to computer science and software engineering. If information systems is the link between business and technology, then computer science and software engineers are the technical experts that kind of create the solutions. And every technical solution includes code, whether that's the code on the back end to make the system or the application work, or whether that's the code on the front end to make it user-friendly for people like you and me to use a system, to make it visually appealing, a range. And there's obviously lots of different options there. But computer scientists and software engineers are really responsible for building the technologies. Both degrees at UNSW in the co-op stream will take 4 years. The software engineering degree is more structured, and it really looks at the software engineering life cycle and designing programs that fulfill the needs and solve problems. As part of the degree, students can take a range of workshops, and those workshops are really there to enable you to work in teams with other students, but also gain hands-on experience on industry challenges and problems that are presented by companies supporting these courses. The computer science degree and computer scientists, they work with both the hardware and the software. And you'll find that in computer science, you'll develop the skills and the knowledge to develop computer applications. Computer science is probably one of our most flexible tech degrees out of the 4 that we've just listed. But also in computer science, you can choose from a range of different majors. So if you want to major in security engineering or in AI or computer networks or database systems, and the list goes on, you can choose to do that in computer science. So let's take a look at some of our industries that are supporting the co-op program in computer science and software. Tech companies like Atlassian, like Amazon are big supporters of the program. Again, financial services. So you think about your online banking, transferring money to a friend after they shouted you dinner, you can do only because of software engineering, computer science, and information systems in the financial services world. Insurance, one of the companies we work with, our scholars actually get to work in their cybersecurity division. So that's a really fantastic opportunity. Logistics, Vice Global, a big company in that space, but also Shipit, who is a homegrown co-op alumni brand in the logistics space. We work with a manufacturing company, we work with media and telco. Again, the application of computer science and software engineering careers can be anywhere in any industry sector. On that note, I'd like to hand it back to Michelle to introduce our next speakers.
Thanks, Sabine. So as I mentioned, we are going to try and give you a really broad range of careers in technology. And some of these are videos that have been done by our industry partners or by alumni. And then we've also got our scholar speakers who can talk to you about their own experience studying and working in the areas. So as you can see, we've got a video from 9 about a wide range of careers in technology, and then Nick Roper from the CommBank, and Christine Kennedy and Mike Turner from EY, who are in consulting with EY in technology, as well as Hannah and Aditya. So I'm going to hit the next button. Hope that I've done this well, because I've got a whole bunch of technology interested people watching. So let's just see.
I always had computers at home from a very young age and always loved to play with technology. I loved science, mathematics, and decided to do a master in computer science.
I'd always been interested in computers, but I'd never really considered it a career path. I did my Year 10 work experience in a law firm. I found it incredibly boring, and I reevaluated it, and I realized I could turn my love of technology into my career.
I was fascinated with technology because I've observed that technology was everywhere, evolving and shaping our day-to-day lives.
I didn't have any previous experience coding before uni, but it wasn't until I got some experience working in the industry through the UNSW Co-op Program that I started to see how I could use my love for technology in the workplace.
I ended up doing a course in networking and IT admin at TAFE. When I went to uni, switched over to a Bachelor of IT, and then honestly, by some luck, I just fell into an internship as a software developer. The rest is history. Turns out I liked it.
At school, I was always interested in art and design, and I studied graphic design for 4 years. And now I focus solely on user experience and user experience design.
I didn't really know what I wanted to do or like what I wanted to be. So I ended up pursuing my passion at the time in psychology. It taught me all about people, how they think, how they work, what they like, what they love. And I found that really applied in the field of product design, user experience design, and really understanding what customers wanted and how we could build products for them.
I was always intrigued by how Google knew exactly what ads I'd click on, how YouTube knew what I'd like to watch next, and this is exactly what got me into data. Data science is the ability to not only recognize trends in data, but also to predict future trends.
My job is to work with audience data, which comes from our online newspapers, such as the Sydney Morning Herald and the Australian Financial Review. I create data pipelines, data models, and dashboards. So I'm basically immersed in data all day, every day, and it's great.
As a DevOps engineer, my job is to provide software engineers with the systems that their code needs in order to make their programs available to the whole of Australia.
I'm a quality assurance tester. My role is to test the quality of the product or a piece of software. A website might seem fine at first, but it can start showing some sign of design flaws or errors. So our duty is to prevent such issues.
I work with engineers, designers, as well as our customers to help create a product that Australians love.
We built apps for a range of different devices, and you've probably all used it to stream one of your favorite shows, hopefully anyway. I'm kind of the guy that's responsible for all the engineers, designers, products, delivering a fantastic customer experience for people who love Channel 9 content.
My job is really about talking to users, getting their feedback, understanding their needs and pain points and problems. And a big part of that as well is being creative problem solving.
My work often consists of communicating with product and design to write code to bring their ideas to life.
Where creativity and technology meet and we can be very innovative.
Because you get to see a product from beginning to end. So you've got the envisioning stage, the designing stage, and you've got prototyping, you've got user testing, then you've got development stage, polishing it up, making sure it's all ready to go out, goes live to users. And then after that, you get to actually track how the users are using and enjoying that feature. Everything you're doing, you can see really quickly how it's been received. And that's really exciting.
As a software engineer, my job entails writing code, but it also involves a lot of problem solving. It's actually quite a people-driven job.
To be honest, I originally thought that engineers were the types of people who become secluded working on things by themselves. But after working in the industry, I found out that my day-to-day work involved a lot of teamwork, brainstorming with designers, and communicating with other teams, developers, and stakeholders to overcome challenges.
The stigma around coding by yourself in a basement is completely false. There are so many meetings and collaboration, you never feel like you're alone.
I love when we all get together and brainstorm a problem. It's energizing that we can all come up with a solution.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of sending a product live.
One last thing is to not be afraid to ask your colleagues for help. Majority of your skills are actually learnt on the job. Everyone around me has just been so supportive and we just want to see everyone else do well.
Don't stick with something if it doesn't feel right. Find your passion and run with it.
Follow your strength and see where they take you, all while keeping an open mind.
You might find you're taken on a completely different path to what you expected.
Keep teaching those computers who's boss.
My main advice would be to follow what your passion is, and with time, everything is possible.
Oh, too far. Sorry. So we really loved that that Nine put together such a broad kind of spectrum of technology opportunities just within that one company to see just how different technology looks at one company blew my mind because I'm not a technologist and unlike Sabine, I don't get to go to all of the cool presentations and meet all of those industry partners. So hopefully that's even given you just a starting idea of how much scope there is for technology, even just within one company. Our next video comes from Nick Roper at the Commonwealth Bank. So I will just do this and this.
Hi, I'm Nick Roper, and I'm a software engineer working at the Commonwealth Bank. My journey as an engineer started a few years ago when I began at UNSW doing mechatronic engineering and computer science. I felt that I was always drawn to engineering because I've always loved technical problem solving, and I think technology is fascinating. And along the way, as I was doing the degree, I picked up an interest in cybersecurity. And I also was fascinated by the human element of engineering. And so that's what led me to choose my first role at Combank as a grad, working in cybersecurity. So I started there as an analyst in a team then called Cyber Outreach. And the role of that team was to raise awareness about cybersecurity, both internally and externally through various initiatives. And so working in that team actually gave me my career highlight so far. I had the chance to work on an initiative called the Cyber Prize. This was an event that the team ran every year to recognize university students all around Australia who come first in cybersecurity courses.
Sorry, I just got a message in the chat that there is no sound. I'm going to restart that video in case there is a problem, and hopefully we will resolve that by doing this.
Hi, I'm Nick Roper, and I'm a software engineer working at the Commonwealth Bank. My journey as an engineer started a few years ago when I began at UNSW doing mechatronic engineering and computer science. I felt that I was always drawn to engineering because I've always loved technical problem solving, and I think technology is fascinating. And along the way, as I was doing the degree, I picked up an interest in cybersecurity, and I also was fascinated by the human element of engineering. And so that's what led me to choose my first role at Combank as a grad, working in cybersecurity. So I started there as an analyst in a team then called Cyber Outreach. And the role of that team was to raise awareness about cybersecurity, both internally and externally through various initiatives. And so working in that team actually gave me my career highlight so far. I had the chance to work on an initiative called the Cyber Prize. This was an event that the team ran every year to recognize university students all around Australia who come first in cybersecurity courses. And so my responsibility as a grad was to design the event for virtual delivery, because last year, due to the pandemic, we couldn't facilitate it in person. And so for me, this was incredibly challenging and pushed me way outside my comfort zone. I felt as an engineer, I'd never had the opportunity to do project management like that, or to practice, for example, stakeholder management skills. And so it was very challenging. But once we did it, it was incredibly rewarding. And it was so rewarding to be able to give back to the students because I felt that I'd been through their journey and I knew what their experience was like. So fast forward now to today, I'm a software engineer. So I'm working on the cloud technologies within the bank, and we get exposure to tools like Azure and AWS. So specifically what my team does is we create services and tools that other teams within the bank can use so they can access cloud resources. For example, one thing that we do is we've created an API or a software tool which teams within the bank can use to deploy their applications to production, effectively to release them. And that's a key part of the software engineering process. So a typical day for me involves a lot of hands-on use of the tools, writing code, and also solving engineering problems. So my advice for anyone who's thinking about a career in engineering or technology would be to take the leap and to try it. Engineers are incredibly in demand now, and there's a wide variety of engineering roles and projects out there that you can choose from. I also think that when you finish high school and finish uni, to be ready and excited to learn, because I found starting full-time work, that was really where the learning journey began. And finally, I can also speak to the two areas that I've worked in, cybersecurity and cloud technologies. I think both are very in demand and both present very transferable skill sets. For example, with cyber, you're seeing more and more nowadays cyber attacks on major organizations. So I think having skills in the cyber area is going to set you up very well. And I think the same can also be said for cloud technologies. They're very transferable skills. And that's all from me. All the best.
Kind of want to say thanks, Nick, but I don't think he's joining us online tonight. So I'm going to hand over to Hannah Chen, who is a software engineering co-op scholar. And we will talk a little bit more later on about co-op for anyone who's not heard too much about it. Hannah, are you happy for me to control? Would you like to control?
Yeah, that's all good. You can control the slides.
I will do that. Okay, thanks, Hannah.
Cool. So yeah, hi everybody. It's great to see that there are so many high school students interested in tech. Yeah, so I'm Hannah and I'm currently a 4th year student at UNSW and I study software engineering. And so I thought I might take us back to when I was in year 12 and I was still deciding on what I wanted to study at university and really just figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Cool. So back in 2017, when I was doing my HSC, if I'm completely honest with you all, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't one of those people who had like a huge conviction about their future career. And so I tried to narrow down my future career prospects by just thinking about what I wanted and where I kind of wanted to be in the future. And what I did know is that one day I wanted the opportunity to travel and potentially work overseas. I wanted to love my job and actually have fun at work. And I wanted to continue learning every single day because I think it would be really boring if I had to just do the same repetitive thing all day, every day at work. And so I sort of landed on software engineering because I realized that it's quite a broad and flexible career or a space where you can sort of end up anywhere. I think like Sabine and Michelle have said previously, pretty much every industry in the world will require tech in some facet and will require software engineers in some way. And so that was really good for me because I didn't know where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. So I knew, okay, it's pretty flexible. You can sort of end up anywhere. And also, I think the idea that, a software engineer has to be coding by themselves in a room alone, that stereotype, I think you can forget about that. It's actually quite a creative job and a job that I think you can have heaps and heaps of fun in. I mean, if you really love doing that, that's great too, if you love being a holder right in your room. But I think it's actually, a lot of it has to do with designing something that customers want to use and designing a user experience creating a user experience that people will actually continue wanting to continue using. So if you think about Instagram or TikTok or I don't know, if you love online shopping, if you love The Iconic, for example, all of these different applications require software engineers and require people like us to actually build those things. So yeah, it can be definitely, it's very broad and you can sort of end up doing whatever you're interested in is what I'm trying to say. And finally, I think if you're interested in technology and you kind of see that the world is being increasingly, I guess, shaped by technology, then I think definitely something it's a career that you can jump on and be a part of that. Cool, next slide. So, after 2017, after my HSC, I ended up at UNSW. And I've had a pretty awesome time at university so far. When it comes to the degree itself, there's actually a really, really strong tech community at UNSW. So there's lots of societies that are involved in something software related. So there's the Computer Science and Engineering Society, there's the Security Society. So there's lots of different groups that creates a really, really strong student network. And you'll find that a lot of the times your classmates and your peers are usually working on something pretty cool or working for a cool company or on like a startup or a side project. So it's pretty inspiring to get to, I guess, learn with these people throughout my degree. And there's also a really broad range of subjects that you can take. So if you're interested in artificial intelligence or security, or you want to learn how to develop a web application, create the next YouTube or something, then you can learn these things at university through this degree. And I think it's nice that you can tailor it to what you're interested in. And I've also had the opportunity to work at a few companies like Atlassian, Optus, and I'm currently now at Commonwealth Bank. So very, very broad range of companies, and it's been really interesting to see how they've all how you all get to work on really, really different things depending on where you go. So yeah, if you're using the CommBank app right now, if you're with CommBank, that's what I'm developing. So yeah, if you see any changes, could be me. Cool, next slide. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, so in terms of where I'm at right now and what I hope to do in the future, there's definitely the opportunity to go on exchange if that's what you're interested in. I think tech is a great way to actually try working overseas, because you can take those skills anywhere. If you do have those software engineering skills, you can, I guarantee you can find a job overseas as well, probably. And yeah, there's opportunity for exchange. I'm hoping to go to Asia next year, if COVID allows. And I'm also going to be starting my thesis soon. So yeah, if you study software engineering, you have the opportunity to do a 1-year honours project on whatever topic you find interesting in the software engineering field. And so I'm going to be doing something related to robotics, because I think that's really interesting and haven't really gotten a chance to explore that much so far. So yeah, there's lots of exciting things happening in the future, and the options are really sort of endless. Cool. Next
Great.
slide.
Thanks so much, Hannah.
Sorry, there's one more slide.
One more slide.
Okay, yeah, just really quick. I think the last sort of tips that I would have is, yeah, don't worry if you don't know exactly what you want to do. Yeah, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it'll be okay. You'll figure it out eventually. And I think tech is a good place to start if you don't know where you want to go, because it's so flexible and you can end up anywhere. You also don't need to know how to code right now, so don't be intimidated by that. You can definitely pick those skills up at university, and you'll be fine. And finally, I think what high school students and young people really know is that tech is really taking over our world. I think we all use technology and social media every day, and I think you guys are definitely aware of that. So if that's something that you want to be a part of, if you want to be a part of making that next big app or the next big thing that everyone is using, then yeah, if that's exciting to you, then definitely choose tech, and I think it'll be really fulfilling for you.
Thank you so much. I just got too excited and was going to say, if anyone has questions specifically for Hannah, she's going to hang around for the panel as well. So you can stipulate that in the Q&A. Thank you. So our next video comes from Tech Consulting in EY, where one of our alumni of the co-op program, Christine, who was in what was formerly the Business Information Technology program and is now Information Systems, and another of her tech consultants are speaking to us. So I will give it a go.
Hi everyone, my name is Emmy, and today I'm joined by two members of EY's Financial Services Technology Consulting team, Christine Kennedy and Mike Turner. So Christine and Mike, UNSW has reached out to EY wanting to learn and highlight the various career pathways available with the co-op program. I understand that you both attended UNSW and completed a degree in Information Systems. We'd love to both ask you a few questions and see what you've gone up to since leaving UNSW.
Happy to, thanks Amy. Hi everyone, I'm Christine and I graduated from the University of New South Wales with a degree in Information Systems almost 30 years ago. I was a part of the Co-op Scholarship Program, and my first job out of uni was a programmer at the stock exchange because I loved the energy and the excitement of share trading. Mike?
Thanks, Christine. Hi guys, I'm Mike. I graduated from UNSW in 2018 with a Bachelor of Commerce and Information Systems, and I'm currently a Senior Consultant at EY Australia.
So can you share your journey from uni to EY and what your current role entails?
Sure, happy to. I was introduced to EY by a colleague over 4 years ago after working in the financial services industry for about 25 years. I'm a partner at EY and the Asia Pacific Technology Transformation Leader, which means I'm responsible for helping our clients in Asia create better products and services through the use of technology, support our staff with their career development at EY, and lead changes to help create a better and more sustainable future for our communities. What I love about EY is the variety of work. I'm learning every single day and there's never a dull moment.
Likewise, so during my time at university, I was predominantly involved in the extracurricular activities and societies, which was a great way at meeting people. During my time at uni, I was also involved in an internship, which helped me to understand technology in greater depth and build my foundations during my graduate years. In terms of what my current role entails, it predominantly involves working with senior leaders as part of both clients and EY to understand core business problems, working together to basically ideate solutions and socialize these solutions and these ideas with clients to eventually be executed to solve these core business problems.
Thanks, Mike and Christine. Sounds like building a better working world is really at the core of what we do at EY. For the next question, what has been the career highlight so far?
Well, for me, joining EY as a partner was definitely a highlight. And other career highlights include being a Chief Information Officer in insurance companies, as well as leading trading technology transformations in global banks. But the biggest highlight is having helped many people develop their career over the years. Some of these people are now senior leaders in their chosen fields, and it's been a real privilege to be a part of their journey.
In terms of my career highlight today, more on the fun side, it has been basically the travel and the learning opportunities available to me at both EY and other firms. Things such as being able to fly to Melbourne and to New Zealand to conduct workshops with senior leadership has been a great highlight for me, as well as meeting the amazing people along the way.
Sounds like you both get up to a lot of fun on this job. Mike, do you have any advice for students considering a degree in information systems?
Sure. I think the biggest piece of advice which I wish I had would be to follow your own passions and your own interests. Don't follow what everyone else is doing. If you're passionate about a certain area, read and do all the certifications and meet as many people as you can in that area, and that'll serve you well.
Good, very good advice there. Finally, Christine, just to wrap it up, could you tell us about what would you like to see people come out of a degree in information systems?
I believe the Information Systems program helps to provide a strong foundation of knowledge and skills, which then creates many career options upon graduation. Now, when I studied information systems, I wasn't really sure about career opportunities ahead of me because technology back then was still relatively new. However, I still made a really good career out of it. These days, technology is everywhere and has become an essential and an integral part of our lives. I therefore believe information systems graduates are the most in demand and the hottest talent that most companies and governments are fighting over in Australia as well as overseas. And as Mike said, follow your passion, know what you're interested in, go hard at it. And I'm sure if it's information systems that you choose to do, then the world is going to look very, very bright ahead of you.
Finally, thank you both so much again for your time today. And for anyone watching from home, if you're interested in learning more about EY Tech Consulting, please reach out to the graduate recruitment team or any of us here on this call. Thank you.
So like all of our sponsor companies, and we are really, really lucky in Co-op to have some fantastic sponsor companies. It's always just so lovely to hear how supportive they are of young talent, of young people who are interested in the area that their organisation is sponsoring in, or you know, really eager to kind of highlight opportunities and things like that. And so I'm going to hand over now to Addy to talk a bit about his experience as an information systems co-op scholar. And Addy, are you happy for me to control your slides too?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Michelle. Just to quickly reintroduce myself. So my name's Aditya, or just Addy, and I'm a business information systems scholar in my final year. And I've, as you saw on the slide before, gone through 3 different placements and have a good understanding of the business information systems degree, as well as information systems in general. On the screen, I have a basic summary of my timeline. I entered information systems much like everyone else, with a open mindset, didn't really know much about technology, but willing to learn more about what the world entails and the roles in tech. That led me to my first placement, where I performed a role in change management and started to learn more about the different aspects of information systems through the university subjects. From that, I kind of got an idea of where I wanted to learn more about. And I heard of this concept of cybersecurity, and that kind of influenced my decisions in terms of placement 2 and 3, where I performed roles in technology strategy and cybersecurity. And now I'm in my final year, currently doing my honors and preparing for graduation. I think in general, over today's course, everyone's kind of learnt a lot about technology, gotten a lot of tips and a lot of roles, but maybe I'll hope to summarize some of that up into 3 questions you guys can ask yourself as to whether technology sounds right for you, and if the advantages kind of match your goals of what a career looks like. So if I go to the first question I wanted to propose is, would you like to drive change and innovation through technology? A lot of what happens in businesses and organizations in terms of change, how do businesses become more efficient? How do they start to become more competitive and differentiate themselves from other people? Often the solution is through technology. And they implement technology, as you've heard today, about softwares, applications, different ways to improve what already exists. And you'll be part of that team, whether it is in the driver's seat or assisting a lot of the operations that facilitate innovation and change. Some of this might be, the flashy ones that a lot of people see. Some of this might be internal. An example of this that I was part of was last year when I was working and helping the organization adapt to video conferencing tools. So as part of that team, I was helping to manage the change and train employees in using these tools. And I ended up, helping the organization train all of its bank staff, which is an incredibly rewarding experience. An example of what I mean here. The second question I would like to ask is, would you like to connect business with technology with your knowledge? I think Sabine mentioned this earlier with information systems, and the fact is you'll become a bridge between the business side of things and the highly technical side of things. These 2 people or these 2 parts of an organization play critical roles, but your job as an information systems graduate or person in this role is to ensure that these 2 communicate their requirements and you can help achieve the business goals. And as part of this, you will work with a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders. In my last role, I remember a lot of my meetings were in fact with people outside of my own team. I barely saw the team members. A lot of it was working with people within the organization, external clients as well. And so as part of a role in technology, you'll be working with a lot of people. And it's the question of, do you enjoy those interactions and working in group work settings? And does that cater to your requirements? And the third and final question to end it off is, would you like the flexibility of career pathways across many disciplines and teams? I think I noticed in that previous discussion video, from EY, Christine mentioned that what she's looking from information systems student is that basic foundation. And there are so many opportunities once you have it. And I think I resonate with that understanding, which is once you graduate from information systems, you have a foundation in the business and in the tech. And it's up to you whether you choose to be in the middle or whether you choose to pursue careers that specialize in either side of the spectrum. I think that in terms of the flexibility, it also presents the opportunity for you guys to try different roles. You might have heard a lot of roles today which stood out and sounded really interesting, and then you're kind of deciding, well, which one do I really like more? I think the benefit here is you don't really have to choose. You can pursue one, and maybe you decide to try something else. Maybe you decide to change it up, learn some new skills, and go somewhere else. Once you go through this degree or learn through technology, you'll have that ability, and that will always be an option for you. And I'll leave it at there and pass it back to Michelle.
Thanks, Addy. So just a very brief overview for, I'm sure all of you have heard of Co-op, and potentially that's how you found out about this event through a careers advisor or our website or a very well-meaning and wonderful human who's highlighted that Co-op exists. But basically, if you are in year 12 now, applications are open for you to apply for scholarships for 2022. But the Co-op Scholarship Program is that career development scholarship, which gives you 3 industry placements, up to 18 months of industry experience before you graduate. It incorporates leadership and professional development with networking and mentoring opportunities and chances for you to grow both through your academics at the university, which is obviously, we're not biased at all, but UNSW is a fantastic university, but also then coupling that with those professional opportunities and exposures and ways and areas to grow as well. In terms of the scholarship itself, it's $19,600 per year for 4 years. And our Co-op scholars are, I mean, these two are fantastic, obviously, and our entire community of scholars really get to know each other and you know, really enjoy their time together, find others who are interested in similar things and work together over their time in the program as well. So if that sounds like it's something for you and you're remotely interested, I really suggest that you jump onto the website and have a look for some more information, register and actually hit submit on your application, because we can't assess you unless you've submitted an application. But what's more exciting for me right now is to actually take your questions. If you have any questions, I'm going to jump into the Q&A and take a look there. We have one question that is asking, do I have to have a tech-related background or prior tech experiences to be successful in this application? And if not, how can I stand out? Hannah, I might throw that to you first, simply because you said you don't have to know coding before you come. What was your circumstance? Had you kind of explored it a little bit, and you know, how did you stand out?
Right. Yeah, so I didn't have any coding background, like I said, but I think I was still interested in the space. And so that definitely should come across in your application if that is actually what you're interested in. I had taken the course. I don't know if you guys still can take this course. It's IPT. I think it still exists. And so I did take one technology course in year 12, but I don't think that that was necessary at all for me to actually do well in my application and for me to do well in my degree. I don't think you need, because it was very theoretical and it's not actually that relevant to what a software engineering degree looks like at university. But in terms of how to stand out, I think if this is where you want to be and this is what you're passionate about, just make sure that that really comes across in your application and really sort of think about why you're interested in this space and what you hope to actually do if you do end up studying this degree. So if you want to have a startup one day, or you are working on a startup, or you are interested in particular tech companies and things like that, I think definitely, yeah, talk about those interests that you have. But yeah, I think Michelle and Sabine probably, actually, you guys looked at my application, so you would know what stood out about me. But yeah, I didn't have too much of a tech background, like I said.
Sabine, is there anything that you want to add there?
No, I completely agree with you, Hannah. I think it's really about it. There is no need to have done coding or participated in NYSF or all of those robotic workshops or things like that. There's no need for it. If you have, great, because it can demonstrate that you have a passion for it and that you're pursuing it already. But don't let that deter you if you don't have any prior experience. But what we do want to see from you when you apply for co-op, especially in the technology field, you will be interviewed by academics, but also by sponsor representatives. And what the academics and the sponsor representatives are looking for is people who want to study that degree and want to be part of technology. So if you can demonstrate your passion in that area, whichever way you can and whichever way it applies to you, then that is a really key component, I think, as part of your application.
Great, thank you. There's another question there. Are there any subject prerequisites for these courses? I'm just going to answer that one very simply. UNSW has no prerequisites for any of our degrees. There are such things as oh goodness, I've forgotten the words, the basically recommended knowledge. There are no prerequisites. You don't have to have done any specific courses to come. The expectation is that you have the interest, but you can obviously, as Hannah and Addie both said, you're going to pick up that information once you're here, and that's why you're taking the degree. I'm going to go to, I currently take IPT, so I'm worried I'll be relearning the same material if doing an information systems degree. Is that a valid concern? Addie, did you take IPT at school?
No, I did not, unfortunately. But I guess I'll still comment on that in general. I did do 1 year of IST, which might be similar during high school. But in general, I wouldn't worry about the concept of relearning any material. In fact, you should look at it as a way to build on whatever you learn in high school through a university degree. I can guarantee that what you learn at university will be much more vast and a lot more informative in terms of its applications into the industry and in terms of how you can apply those skills whenever you go to graduate and work in an environment. But definitely don't worry about the relearning aspects of any courses that you take in high school.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a, what would you say is the necessary way to go in high school to land a career in this field or for a future in that area? I'm guessing you mean in terms of high school subjects. I'm not entirely sure, and if you want to clarify that one for us, please do. But I think the important thing is there are no prerequisites for you to come into a degree at UNSW. You will need to gain entrance to the degree. If it's in terms of whether you mean should you go to university or go to TAFE or dive straight into the workforce, that's potentially going to depend on you as an individual and what you feel comfortable with and how you want to take that road. So if we haven't answered that one, please let us know. How many co-op scholarships are offered? Sabine, I'm going to throw that one to you.
In the technology space, we have somewhere between 30 to 40 scholarships each year. Between BIS and CIS, we sit around 15 to 20. There is more scholarships usually in BIS than in CIS. There's more of a demand from our industry sponsors for students from that degree background. Computer science, software engineering, they're pretty evenly spaced with approximately 10 scholarships each year. So that gives you an idea. It is competitive, but there is also a number of scholarships available.
And there will be as many scholarships as we're able to offer is the other thing to highlight. So we don't put a cap. There is no cap from our perspective. As many scholarships as we're able to offer, we do. For someone interested in cybersecurity, would the computer science or software engineering degree be more beneficial? Ooh, Hannah, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, sure. So I'm studying software engineering, so I can't speak too much about computer science, although I have many friends who have studied computer science. Either one would allow you to explore cybersecurity. So I've taken a cybersecurity course through my degree, and I could take a few other electives in that area as well. So you can definitely explore that within software engineering. But like Sabine said, in computer science, you can also like narrow it down to a particular, what did you call it, Sabine? Was it like
a major, to a particular major? Yeah.
Right. Although I'm not too sure, is there a cybersecurity major for computer?
There is.
Oh, there is.
Yeah,
okay.
so security engineering is the major in computer science if you wish to do computer science.
Cool.
But both degrees are an option.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you. Okay, given that co-op students study one degree, do they have free electives or is that space taken up by industry placements? I'm not sure if you're thinking about the IS or the engineering programs, the engineering faculty degrees. Either way, you do have electives. Your industry placements in software engineering and might take up some of your electives. But not all. You're still going to have some flexibility to select electives within that. And same within IS, whether you're in commerce information systems or business information systems, you will have the opportunity to choose electives. The number of them will change degree to degree, but that is some super deep handbook kind of questions there. So jumping on the UNSW handbook as well will be really helpful in answering that one. Okay, so has the co-op timeline changed due to the new HSC dates that NESA have taken out? We haven't currently made any changes at all to our timeline. Our applications are currently still due to close on the 30th of September. Our interview dates will remain the same because we lock in our industry partners for those interviews. Basically, this in November last year, when we had the interviews, we locked them in for this year. So we did make some changes to how we did our interviews last year. We took everything online rather than in person. And so if we need to do that again this year because of COVID, then we will. But at this stage, nothing has been changed. If there are changes and you are registered with an application started in the co-op program application system, you will receive information about any updates, and also we will send any updates to careers advisors and also post them on our website. So we'll make sure that any changes that we make, you are aware if that is going to happen. Whew. Subjects and work experience. I'm not really sure how to answer that one. So if you want to send us an email about that one, you certainly can. And then, is the ATAR a big factor when selecting candidates? I don't know, Sabine, if you want to jump on that one.
Yes, I can. Look, the ATAR is one criteria. It is a bit of a benchmark. You do need to get an ATAR of 96 in order to be eligible for co-op. You can use your EAS adjustment factors. But besides the ATAR, we really look at you as the whole person and the whole student. So we look at what else have you done outside of school in your extracurricular activities. What drives you? What are your passions? What makes you you, and what makes you unique, and what would make you a good fit for co-op? So there is a lot of other things that we look at beyond the ATAR.
Thank you. What double degree options are offered? Co-op scholars are going to start in a single degree. That is because we are already building so much into your time at university, and you're being sponsored in a specific area. So co-op scholars will always start in a single degree. We can discuss, depending on the stream, with you if you are interested in doing a double degree after you've completed a year of study and one of your industry placements. And there is some flexibility for double degrees in some programs. So that's a conversation for down the track. What we really want you to think about, though, is whether you are committed to the program, to the area of study that you're being sponsored in, because obviously that's where your industry placements with co-op will be, and that's the area that your scholarship is in. I think we've covered the major differences between computer science and software engineering. You might want to revisit that information in the recording of the video of this chat, which, as I said, everyone who's attended tonight will actually receive that in their post comms, and it will also be posted in our YouTube channel. If you haven't checked that out, we've got a whole bunch of career chats in there and videos in there for you to access. And also, does the co-op program involve taking a specific number of students from each school? Is it limited to one student per school? No, absolutely not. We are open to applications from every school. We certainly want to get students who are interested, passionate, enthusiastic in the area, and it's down to the application that you are submitting. We don't have a cap on the number of applications or scholars coming from a particular school, and we're always looking for the best fit for the program in a particular stream. What are the qualities looked for in applicants? Are leadership and good communication skills. I've never been too interested in leadership roles, but I've participated in a few engineering programs and competitions that require good teamwork skills. Would that work just as well? When you are responding to any of our questions, I really encourage you to think about what the purpose of us asking that question is. So leadership and teamwork go hand in hand, but is there a way that you are able to articulate a leadership role that you might have taken in one of those teams? It doesn't have to be school captain, it doesn't have to be team captain, you don't have to be a prefect, but how, in what you have done, how are you able to articulate the skills, or how are you able to demonstrate your experience as responding to that area or that question? So hopefully that has answered that for you. Sabine's typing an answer to that one. And I think the question about major differences between computer science and software engineering, I do think we've covered that one off. Has any, Hannah or Sabine, have you got anything to add to that? What we've already talked about?
Sorry, which question was that, Michelle?
The major differences between computer science and software engineering.
Right. I feel like it's mostly been covered, but the major difference I would say would be the length. If you're not doing it with co-op, computer science is only 3 years and software engineering is 4 years. And with software engineering, you have to do a thesis, which takes an entire year, and it's like a major project that you spend the year researching. But like in terms of what you learn, anything that you can learn in a computer science degree, you can learn in a software engineering degree, and generally vice versa. So I wouldn't let that deter you if you think, oh, I can't learn this one thing in one degree. Generally, they cover very similar topics.
I might just add one extra thing here. Software engineering probably suits a person who likes a bit more structure in their degree. It is a more structured course. We've recently revamped the software engineering co-op structure, where we integrated the placements into the degree. It used to be a 5-year degree. We've managed to bring that down to 4 years with the placements integrated into the curriculum and for credit. So there is more structure. It is quite heavy, quite full on. So you need to be able to cope with that as well. Whereby computer science is more flexible. And maybe if you want to compare it that way, a little bit lighter. There's pros and cons on both sides. So it depends what type of person you are. That should help you choose.
Great. I think time-wise we are really over. I do apologise to anyone who might have dropped off because we're taking so long. But there's one more question there, which is what makes the courses at UNSW different from other universities? Are there any differences? I mean, it's very hard, I think, for either of these students to respond on behalf of any other university, but maybe is there something, guys, that you like about how UNSW has taught you the content, or something that stood out as really interesting?
Yeah, I'll go and answer that first. I think a big thing that I've loved about the courses I've completed at UNSW is the practical applications, or the assessments that we do really do have a visual or impact as to what you're trying to do. I'll give you an example. And a lot of my courses that we do, the assignments or assessments often involve some sort of industry partner or someone external from the university to come in and provide a real issue or problem that they're facing. And so our assignments or assessments will be based on trying to develop a solution which we can present to them. Another one is, in, at least from my experience, my coding courses, we had to develop applications, fully fledged applications for our assignments and assessments, and often to solve, again, an existing problem, whether at the university or whether somewhere else. The point I'm trying to get to is, even while you're learning these courses, they always have a practical implication on what you're doing. And I think that helps to motivate your studying and allows you to, at the end of the course, see how much you've achieved and what you've done has potentially solved someone's issue.
Thanks, Addie. Anything to add, Hannah?
Yeah, I think Addie really covered the sort of courses and why they're really they're quite good at UNSW. But I think outside of just the courses itself, I would say that something that sets UNSW apart is the network of people that you get to meet at uni, especially within tech. So many UNSW students graduate and end up at really, really big tech firms and basically all across the industry. And so it's very easy to contact people and ask them for questions or any help that you might need, or if you want to just know more about the company. So I definitely think that there's a really, really strong community for tech students at UNSW. And so if that's something that would benefit your uni experience or something that you hope to get when you're at uni, then definitely that's one of those things.
Yeah. And just to add to that, obviously.
Yeah. Me too. I want to add a point to Hannah's comment, because studying a degree is one thing, but studying at university is an entire holistic experience. It's not just about the subjects and the courses you take. It's about the people you're studying with, and it's about the community you're going to get involved with. If you like doing extracurricular activities whilst you're at school, then UNSW potentially can be a place that you might really enjoy, because there's a range of clubs and student societies and extracurricular things that you can get involved in. If you're studying in technology, for example, there is different tech societies, whether it's Women in Technology, the Student Computer Science of School, Student Society, BITSA. There is a range of clubs and societies for you to involve yourself with like-minded people. And of course, uni is more than the classroom and those societies. It's the people you spend your time with, and you want to do that with like-minded people that you actually enjoy. So have a look and research different universities. Speak to students who are studying at a university and ask them what they like about it. No one can really compare it unless they've been to 2 different universities, but you've got to make up your own mind. Most universities will have open days coming up in August and September. Ours is on the 4th of September. Come along, speak to the academics, speak to other students, and find out if this is a place that you could call home for 4 years, for example.
And of course, we have the co-op program, which is, pretty awesome. I'm not biased at all, but that increasing that access to industry, increasing that experience, increasing that network, and increasing your scope of understanding of opportunities that are available beyond your university degree. Doing that through the co-op program is one very awesome thing that you could be doing at university if you decide to come to New South. So thank you, everyone, but in particular, Hannah and Addie, really appreciate your time tonight. Thanks, Sabine. If we haven't answered all of your questions or you have any at any point, you can email us, you can call us, you can jump on our website and have a look at that information. We really hope that we'll see applications from you for technology programs. And if you're unsure if technology is for you and you are thinking about perhaps jumping to one of the business or engineering programs that Co-op has available, tomorrow night is our career chat in business, and Thursday night is engineering career chat. So the same way that you registered for this evening's event, you can register for those ones. So thank you very much. Have a great night, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.